Hi, my name is Bethany Rivera Molinar, and I'm the Executive Director of Ciudad Nueva Community Outreach, located in El Paso, Texas. CCDA is asking us to reimagine the work of shalom in light of the resurrection. And so when I read this accounts of the resurrection, I notice that it is women who are the first to preach the good news of the resurrection. So I'm asking CCDA churches and organizations to continue to press into the amplification of women in our churches and our communities in all that we do to bring shalom to them. And so in light of that, I've asked women in my community, both working with Ciudad Nueva Community Outreach and Abroad Frontiers, to share with us how the resurrection informs the work they do here in our community.
Yeah, so I think what is most compelling to me about Jesus's life and his death and his resurrection is the fact that Jesus was and is God incarnate. And I think the idea of God living with us in the flesh on earth and experiencing life and suffering and rejoicing with us.
I think that Jesus, right from the bat, identified with the marginalized population. He said that he came to preach good news to the poor and to help the brokenhearted. Not just that, but Jesus himself was marginalized. At a point, he himself had to seek asylum in Egypt with his family, and he himself was born in Nazareth, which was not any place that was like really held in high regard. So Jesus's ministry was all about preaching to the poor, was all about like elevating the status of those who have been marginalized in the society. And Jesus' crucifixion, I think that it's just a picture of how society ends up alienating those who are marginalized, because from we know that the crucifixion was a grand plan that God used to bring salvation to the whole world. But at the time, you realize that the steps that took Jesus to the cross were like the typical reflection of what happens when somebody doesn't have someone to advocate for them, when they are marginalized, when they're oppressed. Jesus didn't have a fair trial. All of that led him to the cross at the time.
Yeah, I think that the resurrection is emblematic of God's, the representation of God on earth, overcoming sin and brokenness and destruction in the world. And I think that is hopeful for me.
With him coming back, alive, that means that he defeated death, and it gives us hope.
It's about the fact that he rose so that our community can be well taken care of, so that our community members can feel loved, so that I can serve, but serve because Jesus is working through me.
Jesus' crucifixion didn't end there. He rose again. So that is the hope aspect. So for me, my work with the marginalized population has to have some hope. The hope element, I think, is very important, because it's not just about connecting them to resources, but when the food that I've connected with them finishes, how do they go on? When they've gone through the psychotherapy, what happens at the end? There should be the element of hope. So for me, the way I bring in hope with the people I work with is just affirming them, challenging the thoughts that they've had by themselves and just what society has, caused them to internalize, and just giving them that hope that if Jesus rose from the dead, it means that God at one day is going to wipe away the tears from their eyes. There's going to come a day that they don't have to deal with the suffering anymore. They don't have to deal with the oppression. And basically, Jesus' promise of freedom is going to happen for them.
Jesus works through me, and then I'm able to serve and do the work and then step aside, because I'm reminded that Jesus rose for all of us. He rose for me. He rose for our community members.
Yeah, the God that I know and serve is synonymous with love. And I think that God embodied and incarnate in Jesus Christ is what motivates me to live among people and to know people and do life with people in a really intimate, embodied way that is practical and on the ground, and not far removed and watching from the sidelines, but in it with people and like serving and living and learning in community, in really intentional and intimate community, not just like fake community.
When I say that God gave us hope, and it's like, you know, because it's like we are going to see better things. You know, times right now are crazy. It's like we see our communities, we see all this racial discrimination, and so it's like in a future we want it to be, you know, like heaven. I don't know, it's just like everybody treated equal, where nobody goes hungry, where nobody's get discriminated. The resurrection of Christ has left, you know, hope that things will get better. And as we work every single day, you know, to impact our communities and to work alongside and to make it better, you know, it's just, you know, really nice to know that we're doing it in the name of Jesus Christ.